Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. You might have noticed there's not been any videos on this channel for a while, and that's because I was in hiding. Beginning of the year for me is never great. I do not draw inspiration from a new beginning as so many people have done. I tend to hide away on my couch and binge watching TV series. That's how I start my year every year, so this year was no exception. So if you're waiting for a reply to a comment, it's on the way, and if you have made some requests for a particular DIY, it's on the way as well. But to kickstart the year, because still technically at the beginning of the year, I thought we could make a fabric cover for the new diary that you had to buy or make for the new year. These are extremely simple and quick to make, and you can make it in any type of fabric. I have it in this kind of cow fur fabric. I have some in pleather, and you can just make them in regular fabric as well. So loads of options. So let's get started with. So first you're going to need a few measurements. You need to take the cover's measurements from the top to the bottom, and then you're going to do all around the diary from one side of the cover to the other. It's very important that you go all around the cover while it's closed up and not open, since it's going to take more fabric closed up than open. So next we're going to put those measurements on paper, so you should find yourself with a big rectangle. The next step, we need to add the flaps to the pattern. So there is one on each side, and I've made mine about 5-6 centimeters in width. You can make it any size you want, but just keep in mind that if it's too big, you won't be able to insert your diary into the cover. So all you need to do is extend the rectangle that you have lengthwise on both sides by 5 or 6 centimeters or whatever width you want to add. So the next thing to do is to add seam allowance. I'm going to add a centimeter seam allowance all around. So now you're ready to cut your pattern out, and with that you're going to cut one piece of lining and one piece of outer fabric. One thing that is very important to do is to mark up where your flaps are going to fold. So when you're cutting your fabric, what you're going to do at those markings is cut little slits within the seam allowance, just so you know there's something important happening. It's going to save you a lot of time and guesswork for later on. Now we're going to start making our cover. So you're going to take your lining piece and your outer fabric piece. You're going to put them right sides together, and we are going to pin the two short edges on either side of the rectangle. Now we're going to sew along those short edges with a straight stitch and a 1 centimeter seam allowance. So once you're done sewing the two short edges, you should have a tube, and we're going to turn it inside out. What we're going to do next is iron the seams flat. Ironing is going to be your best friend on this project. It's going to make it look a lot better, a lot sharper if you do iron all your seams regularly. So next you're going to take your tube again, and you're going to turn it again on the other direction, so the two right sides are going to face each other, so your seams are going to be exposed again. So now we are going to get the flaps ready. You will need your iron for this. So I'm going to start with my lining, and I'm going to see where I put my little notches telling me where the flap is going to be, and I'm going to go on either side and fold my fabric where the marking is. So I'm going to make sure that the fabric stays right sides together when I fold it, and then I'm going to mark the crease with my iron. Next I'm going to flip my cover on the other side, and I'm going to do the same with the outer fabric. So I'm going to find my notches, I'm going to pinch my fabric, making sure that I'm keeping it right sides together, and I'm going to create a crease with my iron to mark up where the fold is. Once that's done, I'm going to repeat this process with the other flap on the other side, so with the lining piece and the outer fabric piece. So now it's time to put your cover together. So what you're going to do is where you made the crease earlier on, you're going to fold it back again, and you're going to match those two creases on the lining and the outer edge together. By doing so, you're going to push the shorter end inside of the lining. So that's normal, that's what you need, and it's going to create a pocket, so on either end you will have a hole. So that's normal. You're going to pin alongside the long edges and make sure everything is laying flat. So once you're done with one side, you're going to do the exact same thing with the other side. Once you have everything pinned, you will need to sew along the long edges. Make sure on one of them to leave a gap for turning the work inside out later on. Before you turn your work inside out, all you need to do is clip your corners. That is going to relieve bulk, but make sure you do not clip your seam, otherwise it's going to come undone eventually. Once it's done, you can turn it inside out. So when you have everything inside out, as you can see, you will have no raw edges showing. Everything is encased within the case. All you need to do now is give it a good press with your iron, just to keep all your seams flat, and you do not need to close the opening shut. It's going to stay that way if you give it a good iron. All you need to do now is fit your diary with your new cover, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you found it helpful. If you did, why not giving it a thumbs up to show support for this channel. And if you are interested on seeing more videos, you can subscribe for more. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr and the like. I will have all the links in the description box below. And if you have any comments or questions, just leave them in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!